Oh, hello there, everybody. How are we on this fine Wednesday? It's hump day, as
Humpty!
that old commercial would say. Welcome to another exciting rendition of Chatting with Doug, the show where you ask Doug questions, he answers them like the dancing monkey that he is, and we all laugh. No.
Well,
Anyway.
I laughed.
Yeah.
And I just hear the silence of void and the void of silence, I should say. See, that wasn't funny either. And I just laugh harder at how silent it is. And it's sad, but it's very funny for me.
I'm glad. As long as you're entertained.
Sorry, I just brought everyone down like just, dude, Doug, lighten up. You did superhero movie today. Come on.
It's not that deep, bro. Anyway, yes, hello. I see we are already on Twitch at a level 3 hype train. Thank you so much. And I see over on YouTube, we have the super chats flooding on in. So let's get to the rules so that we can start answering some of your questions here. First and foremost, we give priority to the bit messages and the super chats, since that is some real world money spent. Towards the end of stream, sometimes we have time to just answer plain questions from the chat or highlighted questions from Twitch, but please wait for that until the end of stream. We just have such a large volume of questions coming in that are paid that we prioritize those. Also on YouTube, we prioritize super chats that are $5 and over. Again, we just get a large volume of questions, and this helps narrow it down. So that hopefully we can get to the questions that are not paid. I swear. I know sometimes people feel like we have to pay to ask a question. We try, okay? We try.
This is the only way. This is the only way we can have nice things, or just things in general. They don't have to be nice, just things. It's the only way you can answer questions.
Also on the YouTube side of things, you don't have to repeat your super chat if it unpins from the top of chat. I know sometimes people freak out a little bit and they're like, I have to do it again, it unpinned. I've got a list. It is very, very rare that we miss an actual question that's in the list. Just have patience, because sometimes we do get up to an hour behind. So just have some patience and some understanding, and we will get to it. Please do not repeat yourself over and over again in chat. You can get timed out or banned if you're going to continuously do that. That does also include something fairly new here I'm adding. Monopolizing chat. What that would mean is just making random comments to make random comments to just show up in the chat. You know, we're trying here to have a real conversation. So, you know, just randomly typing cats in chat isn't always helpful, and honestly a little annoying, or just typing random emotes, you know, whatever. Just don't monopolize chat with randomness. We want to see actual people answering and asking questions, okay?
Unless there is, in fact, a cat on screen, which there is not right now, but sometimes Chaplin comes in, so then it's okay.
I picked the worst thing to you know.
It's like, we do that. We're just like, cat! Chaplin, cat! Cat! Sorry.
Please watch the length of your questions. The longer it is, the faster I have to read it, the more likely it is that we are going to lose the point, and we do not have time to repeat it. So short and to the point is better. Along those same lines, if you absolutely have to break up your question or comment into multiple segments, keep it to 3 maximum. Again, we just lose the points, and we don't have time to figure out what you're trying to say if it's message 7 and you gave message 1 like 40 minutes ago. Also, please keep it to 1 question per bit message or super chat. It's not really fair if you are like, hi, here's 5 questions. We have a lot of people who would like to ask a lot of questions. So 1 question per bit message or super chat, please. No spoilers. I don't know, maybe I'm out of line, but I think we're okay to start doing Deadpool and Wolverine spoilers. You know what I mean?
I think it's fine. I mean, it's all over. They're all over the internet. Yeah, right. I think it's pretty safe.
I think it's okay for us to let that one go, but, you know, no spoilers for anything else. I don't even know what else is out right now, but you know what I mean. Just watch the spoilers, okay? All right, great. And watch your profanity. Thank you, Wayflow.
Yes, that's for us. That definitely for me. I always need that reminder.
Appreciate that. All right. Anyway, let's get to these questions. Here we go. Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Hi, Heather. Just checking to see if you've started the new season of Only Murders yet, and if so, what are your thoughts so far? I have not. I'm right now working my way through the new season of My Adventures with Superman, which is... I love that show. It's fun.
Is it season 2 or 3 it's on?
I don't remember, so that's helpful. I don't remember. Sorry.
I'm glad it's doing well. I always thought, like I said, I didn't get into it, but I'm like, I know it's good. I know it's charming. I'm glad it found an audience.
It's charming as hell. Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Have you seen a show that aired in the 90s called Pirates of Dark Water?
Yeah.
Boy, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, I don't remember a ton about it. I remember it was good, and it was definitely one of those shows where you kind of knew it was going to be gone soon, so you wanted to see as much as possible. It just had the look of that kind of show, but it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it's like, you know how there's like the dark 80s kids movies? Like this is like that if it was a show. It just had like that vibe. It kind of had like a Dark Crystal vibe to it. And I haven't seen it in yet. That should be cool if that has like a DVD release or Blu-ray release. I remember being cool, but I don't have like, if you were to ask me what was it about, like I don't know, but if you show me any picture of it, I'd be like, that's it, that's from Dark Water. So I don't know. If it's online somewhere, I might want to check it out.
On a Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. No message, just the bits. That Disney Nerd, thank you for the $5 super chat. Good evening, superhero Dougie. How are you and our beloved Lady Heather doing?
Good.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Okay.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Evening, guys. So, Doug, I have to ask, with the impact it's had on TV and its legacy forever tarnished, what are your real thoughts on The Cosby Show?
All right, so let's remove what we know about the real guy from it, because that's only fair. We should. So personally, I'm like, well, I can never watch that show again, because that's his whole shtick, that he's a good man, he's a good family man, and isn't he family friendly? And it's a lot of him, just, you know, what's supposed to be naturally him. But if you take that out, which I feel like I can enough, even then, I thought it was all right. I like that something so family friendly was that popular, you know, and it was very simple. It was one of those shows I always kind of joke like that was almost the original show about nothing, because literally it could just be him like just talking with his son or talking with some kids or just, you know, improvising, and like that would be it. But he was charming enough on that show that could be enough. And I like there were a lot of moments of just the family getting together, not just throwing insults at each other. So, it was fine. I never quite got the, you know, when I was a kid, I really liked it. I never quite got the, it took over the world thing about it, but, I remember the actors were charming and everything, but, yeah, it's impossible for me to go back and watch it and just enjoy it on its own. And maybe that's because it never had like a huge connection with me anyway. Like I did watch it as a kid, but, yeah, it wasn't something I really put on much as an adult as I got older.
Too bad Waluigi time. Thank you for the £5 super chat. Will we ever see the return of a background studio in NC, or is that a thing of the past?
I think we're pretty close to one. Man, okay, we were close with one. Yeah, we were close to one, and then it had like hidden fees. I was just like, but I think we got one that, you know, we're just kind of going over the paperwork right now and stuff like that. So hopefully that's it. Hopefully we should have one by like, you know, October here. You know, again, here's hoping.
Chase, thank you for the $5 super chat. Apologizing in advance. I'm a creative writer, and the Doug Fails song sparked my interest. I'll super chat the song next week. I promise to be funny, but nice.
Okay. You know, a part of me is like, which Doug Fails song? Because there must be several. But no, I actually don't know this, so maybe I should look at it. I just found out, I think last Q&A, how big like Melvin Brother the Joker got online. I laughed my ass off. There's a lot of like, they redo the Joker trailer with like Melvin Brother the Joker, and they just end with like, this sketch was terrible. It's pretty good, and a lot of them are pretty good.
The Music World, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug and Heather, hope y'all are having a great week. What are your thoughts on TBBT and Young Sheldon? Oh, The Big Bang Theory. There it is. Also, unrelated, top 10 Pixar films. Well, okay, we cannot do top 10 Pixar films, that's for sure. Favorite.
I can do my top 2, Inside Out and Inside Out 2. That was pretty easy. And Big Bang Theory, I've only seen 4 episodes. 2 were funny, 2 were not. And I think the 2 I found funny were like the earlier seasons and the bad ones were the later seasons. And I never saw Young Sheldon. I remember everybody saying like it looked really bad and lame. And then when it ended, people were like, oh, that's such a shame. Poor Young Sheldon. I was like, really? So it was good? I didn't know that. So, yeah, I'm really behind on a lot of that.
Brian, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm one of the few, the proud, the fans of the Wall episode. Let's get this out of the way early. Can we get a hint for next week's episode?
Well, hold on. Let me put a little mark here of the few that liked it. Oh my God, we're up to 2. That's not including myself. And a clue for next week. I had a reference to the sequel of the movie I'm reviewing next week in this week's review. So there you
go. Oh, interesting. Okay. Haunted Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. Is there a P.O. box of some sort in case I'm inclined to add Channel Awesome to my Christmas card list? P.S. You know the leper in Braveheart, the father of Robert the Bruce who gave orders in isolation? That's who I think of when Rob's on Twitch with no camera. I love that.
I'll pass that on.
I love that. That's hilarious.
You should go as that one Halloween, just with the little bumps and everything. If we do hand that out, I guess, do we just say Waveflow?
Yeah, message Waveflow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. On Twitch, since you're on Twitch too, Haunted Joker. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Would you ever do a review of the South Park movie from Paramount for Nostalgia Critic?
I mean, I did. I was gonna say I did the South Park movie, unless you're talking about another one that came out like on Paramount Plus or something. But yeah, no, I did the original. It was tricky to get around YouTube's, restrictions and everything. But yeah, we haven't gotten hit with it yet.
Matt, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, who are some of your favorite metal bands?
I'm very boring. It's like all the generic ones, like Metallica, Rob Zombie. Slipknot, obviously, you gotta throw that in there. Who else? Smashing Pumpkins count. I liked them a lot growing up. I did listen to a little Gwar growing up. But I mean, but years ago. I haven't heard them like in eons. So I'm really out of that. But yeah, I wish I could say more like the more underground bands and stuff. But it's like mine were pretty generic.
Ooh, Jeremiah, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, Trap is streaming. You know what that means.
I gotta wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. Yeah, physical media. But I'm definitely gonna review it, man. There's a lot of material.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of Beetlejuice?
It's good. I don't think it's for everyone. I think the majority of people are gonna like it. But if you're, for lack of a better way of putting it, like a Beetlejuice purist, I don't know what you're going to think about it. Or even if you just like the story of the original one, you're looking for something that has like a good story and like interesting enough characters, like you're not going to get that, but you are going to get fun performances, a lot of creativity, a lot of high energy, particularly halfway through. It really turns on and has a lot of fun, creative stuff that never really lets down at the halfway point. It just keeps going. And I did have a good time with it, but when people are inevitably going to point out criticisms with it, I'm not going to be able to defend it that well. They're going to be right. But if you're just looking for a fun, goofy time with some weird gothic imagery, you're going to like it.
Trip Corey, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your thoughts on the Animaniacs episodes? Hooray for North Hollywood. Surprised that wasn't on your top 11 Animaniacs list.
Let me summary for North Hollywood. Let me remind myself which one that is. There it is. No, not videos. Let's go to images. I'm actually kind of blanking on this one. Right for North Hollywood. Oh, is this one where they like take over the studio or something? You know what? My memory of it isn't that great. I do not remember it that well, so you'll have to. I've seen all the episodes. I think this one just maybe didn't have like that big an impact on me. I'll watch it again though. If you say it's really good.
Jimmy Vance, thank you for the $5 super chat. What's your favorite type of Twilight Zone episode? Emotionally driven, creepy and surreal, social commentary, or something else?
Just the dark twisted ones, the ones that have the a-hole endings. Probably. I'm not sure it's my absolute favorite, but it's definitely one of my favorites. The All the Time in the World. That is just so mean. It's so beautifully, hilariously mean, and that stuff makes me laugh pretty hard. I mean, the ones where I do watch Night of the Meek every Christmas as well. That's a great episode, and the ones that, yeah, I think the same thing was it of late. I think of like Kerplupla Street. I can't remember the name of the street, but that one, the performances are kind of like over the top and weird, but again, they're just so mean and into what they're doing, and you can kind of see the twist happening, but again, such a mean, great twist that it cracks me up. The ones that have real dark humor, those are the ones I really like.
Noah Zinner, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, I gotta know, will Telltale's The Walking Dead be a game you wait to play once people voted, or will you decide to play yourself?
Oh, I'm not going to play it just on my own alone. I'll do a stream of it because I do know it's something that, like there's going to be like big reactions to it and stuff. Like, I'm sure it's one that's been streamed a lot and people film the reactions and everything. So yeah, it'd be silly not to do that. With that said, because we're getting near the end of Arkham Knight, I think we know the next game we're going to do. So because it comes out very soon, so we're not going to do a vote this time, but after that we'll do a vote. But yeah, we'll do the same thing. We always like to put it to a vote. Yeah, I won't play it on my own, don't worry.
Also, you're playing Arkham City, not Arkham Knight.
Arkham City, I'm sorry. Oh my god, just awful. I've been flying around that city getting lost in it so much, you think I'd remember that's called that.
Edge, thank you for the 59 NOK through Super Chat. What happens if Anakin Skywalker fights the Sandman from Spider-Man?
I don't know. I just know it'll be coarse, rough, and get everywhere.
Kevin, thank you for the $5 Super Chat. Nostalgia Ween idea, World War Z. Please remember to make a joke about the part where Subway Sam counts to 12 and says, trains in the station.
Yeah, I never did see it, but it's one that a lot of people do recommend that I look at, and I don't know, I just didn't hear much about when it came out, and even that much afterwards, but for some reason, people really want me to review it, so I'll put it down as a possibility.
Ooh, Jeremiah, thank you for the 500 bits. I know you hate Broderick's performance in Inspector Gadget, but I actually like his performance as the evil Inspector Gadget. I thought it was funny.
I can see that. It's kind of, there are times where he is so awkward. It is kind of enjoyable. Honestly, my favorite thing to watch of his is just, was it Comedians in Cars getting coffee? Like, he's just himself with Jerry Seinfeld. And I'm like, oh, he's like really like this. He just talks in this very strange way and constantly looks lost. And it's kind of adorable, honestly. So, yeah, in a bizarre way, sometimes him just trying to be his natural self is the most funny thing. And even when he's trying to be something so different from what he is, like that evil bad guy, that can be pretty funny too.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Will you be watching Apple's iPhone event on the 10th? And are you saddened they still do not let people in their theaters? It's all pre-recorded.
I don't even know what it is. Yeah, I gotta look it up. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. How would you rank these shows? Tasmania, Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, and Freakazoid.
Okay, Animaniacs, say Pinky and the Brain, Freakazoid. I'll say Tasmania than Tiny Toons. I like them all, but I think the writing of Tasmania is a little better.
That Disney Nerd, thank you for the $5 super chat. Sorry for asking again. I passed out on Friday, so I didn't hear your answer. Which film, in your opinion, is better, Truman Show or Unbreakable?
Truman Show. Yeah, that one has a lot more going on. Though I appreciate the uniqueness of Unbreakable.
Virginia, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, hope you and the team are well. Wanted to get your take on the shutdown of Concord from gaming servers. Peaked at less than 700 gamers, lasted 2 weeks.
So I saw this making headlines. So what is it? So I don't even know what it is.
It's a shame is what it is. I mean,
it's a what?
It's a shame is what I said. But,
okay.
So it's a Sony game that they've spent like 8 years and millions of dollars making, and it's kind of like a almost like a Overwatch type situation where it's a 5v5 like hero shooter.
Okay.
I don't remember almost anyone talking about it before it came out. I saw like one trailer for it and got excited because the trailer was misleading. And then it was like, because it was almost like Guardians of the Galaxy Light. And so the beginning of the trailer was actually kind of fun. And I'm like, ooh, what's this game? And then they're like, in this 5v5 hero shooter. And I was like, oh, never mind. Those aren't my favorite things.
Okay, and yeah, so there's all this buildup, but not all this buildup. Like, or there's a lot of time, but not much buildup, I guess.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
it just
there
shut
was
down
a lot
really
of
quick.
time and money sunk into it, but I
Oh, that's
don't
a shame.
think enough in marketing, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, because I haven't heard anything about it except that it shut down, and everyone's like, "Holy smokes!" So yeah, I guess I don't have that much opinion because I just found out what it is.
Yeah. Unheard Sirens, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey Doug, one of my favorite all-time NCs is Cool World. Is there a reason I can't find it on the channel anymore? Also, can we see more of Rob as Bakshi anytime soon?
It should be on there. The only thing I could think of, maybe, I mean, I doubt it, but maybe it got age restricted, so it's not. Maybe it's not showing up on searches or something. That's odd. Should be on there. I'll give another look, but yeah, should be on there.
Edge, thank you for the 59 NOK through Super Chat. What if Willem Dafoe plays him from the Powerpuff Girls? What do you think?
So it's like I know some of the villains really well. Like I know Mocho. But some of them I don't know that well, and him is one of them. I don't really know what that character is, and maybe is that the joke of the character? You don't really know what he is. It's just him. Or I mean,
I love him. Yeah.
Okay, and like, is that just kind of the thing? Is it like our version of Bill?
devil.
Like you just don't know what it is? Okay, it's just like the devil. Like okay,
Yeah.
I guess I never fully followed it because I didn't watch a ton of the show. I only saw a little bit. So I mean, I appreciate the oddness of the character, but yeah, I think I had to. Maybe if I watch his first episode, I'll like follow it better and get more what him's about.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Much like Rick and Morty, the show Solar Opposites has some thought-provoking storylines. There's an episode where one of the aliens sends anonymous letters back in time to his husband as a child in order to alter the traits he doesn't like about him, eventually making him become a killer by mistake.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, I tried like 2 episodes and it wasn't bad. I just wasn't getting into it. And that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it does get really, really good. And I should probably give it more of a chance. So yeah, just add that to the mountain of other shows that I need to watch. But yeah, I'll probably give it another shot at some point.
Ooh, Jeremiah, thank you for the 500 bits. It's crazy how good the Hourglass suit is.
Oh, from superhero movie? Yeah, I was jealous of that name when you find out his power and he comes out and says, "I am the Hourglass." I'm like, that's a legit, unironically good name. Like, that's a great name for a supervillain. And there's parts of that story where I kind of feel like this guy was just like, he just had like maybe a funny superhero like script or a comic or something. And then when superhero movies took off, he's like, okay, I'll just tie it into Spider-Man. But yeah, there's some things where I'm kind of like, I get the feeling he just had this idea for an original comic, I feel like.
Edge, thank you for the 59 NOK through Super Chat. Have you seen Buzz on Maggie yet? It's a real snore fest if you're into that, and we know you are.
Thanks. Buzz on Maggie? As in like Buzz Lightyear and Maggie Simpson? No, but it is a Disney property. No, I do not know what this is. But for a snore fest, I'll probably skip it.
Trip, thank you for the $5 super chat. Any chance you've reconsidered doing the show Teacher's Pet for Disney-cember? I know you think it wouldn't get many views, but I think it would.
Maybe. I'll take a look at like how many seasons it is. If it's really short, if it's like a season, it's not that many episodes, maybe I'll check it out.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Would you consider doing an NC on Dinosaur 2000? You get to see Sebastian the Crab play the jerky leader.
Probably not, because I remember it. I did Disney-cember on. I feel like I kind of got my thoughts out there. And honestly, it was not even like a terrible film. It's just kind of dull. So I didn't really get into it. I don't really have a passion to talk about it. So probably not. But, you know, I've said that before, and I've turned around and reviewed some movies. So we'll see what happens.
Jace, thank you for the $20 super chat. Follow up on Mars Attracts. Yes, that's the name. If the gameplay was like Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, or Star Wars Battlefront, that works. Humans and Martians having different class attackers and weapons like RPG. Thoughts?
Sure. So that's what it's called. It's called Mars Attracts? Okay.
Attracts.
Oh, attracts, like attract someone?
Yes, yes.
Oh. I'm sure it has something to do with the gameplay or something. Sure. I mean, I'm someone that didn't even get like that into the movie. I guess I was kind of fascinated by it. I did watch it a couple times to kind of figure out like, why doesn't this work? But why do I keep watching it? You know, everyone I think has that movie, and that was one of them for me. But I don't know if that extends too much out to games. But who knows? Maybe it'll be a big hit, and I'll say I gotta check this out.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. These guys are watching Yu Yu Hakusho for the first time. Would you do a review for that anime?
I love to, but there's already a ton of other animes I'd like to watch, and on top of that, just in general, like Japan's copyright is very different from American copyright. So whenever we do an anime, like we gotta be super, super light on the clips and everything because, like I said, they will copyright claim us, and we do fight it. But I mean, it's usually a long amount of time you're going without, money, and then that kills the momentum and everything. So probably not. But I've heard good things about it.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Which kid character do you like more, Max from Where the Wild Things Are or Lilo?
I mean, they're practically the same character, aren't they? Man, that's rough. Okay, so Lilo is a more fun character to watch. Max, I think, is a more fun character to analyze, if that makes sense. And they're both fun to watch. They're both fun to analyze. But like between the two, I think that's kind of interesting. Let me put it this way too. I would watch more movies about Lilo if they made more. You could do more with her. Max, I don't want to know anything more about. Like that's what's interesting about him is what did all those images and those characters and stuff mean? What were they connected to? I don't want any answers to that. So I guess that's still hard to say which one is better. I don't know. I can't choose.
Kevin Lane, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, please pretend to be trying to sell the Kingpin's vehicles like an auto dealer. There's a used tank, a black helicopter, and a nuke submarine. Hi, welcome to the black market. Do you want a tank, a helicopter, a nuclear submarine? Scene. Noah, thank you for the $5 super chat. For the next Disney December theme, how about Hulu? For example, Run and No One Will Save You are two fantastic thrillers that deserve more love.
I mean, I guess I could. It's tricky though, because again, there's not usually like a hard copy of those movies, and we try to get something that's hard copy because again, it's unlikely anyone would go after us, but it does look bad when they like going after pirates and stuff, and then you're like reviewing something that you had to take offline. You know what I mean? There's no other way to get it. So probably not, but I've seen some good Hulu stuff on there, so we'll see.
Maggie, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you ever seen the Eaton Park Christmas tree special? It's a Pittsburgh tradition every Christmas.
What's it called?
Eat N Park Christmas tree commercial. So it's like eat food, the letter N.
Okay, there it is. Eaton Park Christmas commercial. Wait, have I? This image kind of looks familiar. No, I don't think I have. I'll tell you what, though. I will look at for the commercial special and see if maybe we can work it in there.
Treg, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, I was wondering if you've seen the movie Mind Game or anything by Masaki Yuasa. I'm sorry. If not, my backup question is, what do you think of Beetlejuice 2?
No, it looks cool. All right. Man, what a style. Very unique style. I'm definitely going to check this out. This looks very, very awesome. And I answered it before, but long story short, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I don't think it's going to be for everyone. If you're looking for like, interesting character and story and consistency, you're not going to get that. But if you're looking for fun performances and weird, goofy visuals and a lot of energy, you'll get that, which I think a lot of people are.
This is my name too. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, I just wanted to say thank you. You've been at this for 17 years and nearly 1,000 episodes of quality content I've watched since 2011, and I look forward to Nostalgia Critic.
Oh, thank you so much. It is so weird to think the more and more I really think about like how long that is, like 17 years. And it's like, It's odd, but man, I know I always say you gotta say this, you're required to, but it's like it really is true. We could not do it without y'all watching, man. It really means the world. You are allowing me to like live my dream, man. So again, just thank you all so much. It really, really means a great deal.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Question for Heather: what are your top 3 favorite 2D Disney villains? I like Jafar, Frollo. Oh man, maybe Ursula. Maleficent though too. That's 4. There we go. That's 4. Jimmy, thank you for the $5 super chat. With Twilight Tober Zone coming soon, we need Walter to do a Rod Sterling cigarette ad parody.
He's working on something, and it does actually involve ads a little bit. So I don't think that's giving anything away, but yeah, he's got a plan. He's got a plan. Now, whether or not they'll be released with Twilight Tober Zone, we'll see. But he's definitely got a big project that he's working on that's kind of tied to it.
Ooh, Jeremiah, thank you for the 500 bits. The trailer for Minecraft was something.
I never play Minecraft. If you show me an image, I know what it is. So when I saw the trailer, I had no reaction. I didn't know if this was going to be accepted well or not. I was telling Heather, though, it just kind of looks like a bad Super Bowl ad. Like the ones where here's a random celebrity with another random celebrity and some expensive but not good effects, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I know this is for kids, but I also know, like, the kids have grown up with it, too. Mm-hmm. So, there's probably a lot more to it. So, it didn't look like anything to me, but I also don't play the game, so I'm not, like, offended by it. I don't know. If you were to tell me Hollywood's making a Minecraft movie, that's about what I would expect. That's the people I would expect to be in it, too. So, I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that's about what I expect.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I'm not huge into Minecraft either, but it's still like, come on. You have like one of the greatest sandbox games ever created, and you're just going with generic people are in the video game thing. Like, whatever.
Well, especially, I guess, because we were talking about it being like the comparisons to like Lego and stuff like that, and like how great the Lego movies were, and how they really thought outside the box with that. And I guess when you compare it to that, it is a real letdown. But again, as someone who's never played it, I'm like, okay, so that's about what I thought Hollywood would give us.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Really depressed lately. Had to walk away from a school because I took every class possible, and I was wondering if you ever had to do that. I ended up sleeting the whole summer due to depression and didn't watch a movie till the end of summer.
Wait, you said they did every class?
Yeah, they took every class possible.
I've definitely never done that. But like a Rushmore thing? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't fully follow the question there, but whatever you're going through, I mean, just you got people rooting for you, man. There's good support out there too. Just move around, move your body around. Even something it's like going for a walk and talk to people. If you don't have enough support, try to find more support. I mean, there's good people out there. There's famous quote from Mr. Rogers, always look for the helpers. There's always helpers. So, just keep an eye out for good stuff like that, because there are a lot of good people out there who definitely like to help.
A Pagan Priest, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey, Doug, are you doing any shows in the Southeast anytime soon? Atlanta area?
I don't think so. Our next one's, I think, in Cleveland. Everything's still kind of in the Midwest, but I'm looking to maybe branch them out a little bit more. Like I said, with the fatigue and everything, I'm trying to get kind of back into them slowly. But yeah, if you want us out there, just tell a con you like that you want us out there, and maybe we'll appear.
Jace, thank you for the $20 super chat. Stoked you're watching King of the Hill. How do you feel about coming reboot? Despite taking place in the future, is it worth doing if the voice actors for Luann, Buckley, and even Dale Gribble have passed away so far? Personally, I don't.
So I thought I heard that right, that they're setting it in the future. That's pretty cool. I am curious what they're going to do with that. I do kind of want to see them older and what they do with it. I'm also a sucker for those types of stories, like what happens in the future. It'll be interesting because watching it again, well, watching all the episodes, I don't think I saw all the episodes. There are some that I kind of thought, boy, I don't know if because obviously it has, it's Texas. It's going to be kind of, right leaning and stuff like that. But then there's episodes that surprisingly have a little bit of like a left lean, but it still kind of matches his character. And there is a part of me I'm thinking, like, if they do that now, would people say, oh, they changed it, they went this direction, whatever, even though the show was already kind of doing it. So I don't know. I like that show because you really do get a feel for the characters, and they are humanized, and they are interesting, they are funny, they are loving, and they have this very unique identity that's very likable. And I think if you just keep that throughout the show, I mean, it sounds like it's a lot of the same people. I think it'll do all right. I guarantee you it's almost inevitably going to get backlash. I don't know how, from at least one side, if not both sides. So, hopefully, even if it gets backlash, it's still good. You know what I mean?
Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. Come on, Doug. Bring back the musical and clipless reviews. If Dick Van Dyke can have that much energy at 98.
Oh, yeah. Let's just see when his next movie is coming out. Let's see when his next project that he's editing and writing and acting in and dancing in and putting together. That is pretty cool that he's doing all that stuff. Is. Honestly, anytime I see an interview, I'm like, that's so cool. But I mean, on top of me just getting older, like I said, I do have this fatigue, which I mean, it is getting better, but it is still there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's it ain't gonna happen. But at the same time, it is kind of fun, just like, I don't want to say doing them like the old days, because they are a little different. Like I do have kind of a different take on movies now than I did when I first started out. But it is kind of cool that it's not always about, well, what's the joke? Well, what's the funniest joke you can get? Now it's kind of like, no, you can just legit talk about something, and you can kind of bring in other people on it too and open it up to them. What are their thoughts and everything, while also working in humor. And that just feels like the right place to be right now. So yeah, I mean, but I loved doing them. I don't regret doing them at all. And yeah, as you said, there's a lot of people that definitely got into them. But yeah, it's just, I don't have it in me, man. I'm so sorry.
Spike, thank you for the $10 super chat. Why do you think the live action One Piece was successful where other anime adaptations fail?
I mean, I can only go off of the fact I've only seen the live action one. And for me, it did such a good job bringing you into that world that was so well laid out and so well defined and so one of a kind. And on top of that, the actors are all very, very charming, do a very good job. I mean, those are characters that could so easily be flat / even kind of annoying. I mean, I think the main character, I can just see this alternate universe where he gets on everyone's nerves, if they didn't get the right actor, or they didn't write him correctly or direct him correctly. And all of it just seemed to work. And there is a part of me, I mean, probably not, but there's a part of me that kind of wonders if they looked at the Cowboy Bebop live action show and said, okay, now we know what not to do, which is a shame, because I feel the passion from that show. You can tell they loved that show. I do legit feel really bad for that show, but it clearly doesn't work. And One Piece really does. And I think part of it is it just creates, it's obviously, adapting the anime, but it has its own unique energy that works both in this live action world where it does feel like you're kind of there, but clearly in this world of animation too, where everything is so exaggerated and crazy. So somehow it found that good in between where it works on both levels. People that want to feel like they're in a cartoon, but people that also want that feeling of live action. Like, when he stretches his cheek, it really feels like he's stretching his cheek. And I think that's probably a big charm of the anime as well. When they animate something, it's still, even though it's exaggerated, it still really feels like it's being done, like it's happening in front of you.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. And Deadpool and Wolverine, what do you think of the scene in the car where Wolverine gets to his breaking point and lays into Deadpool?
I mean, that's probably my favorite scene from him in the movie. And it's followed by maybe my favorite joke where Deadpool is slamming his head into the radio several times, and every song it changes to is a Hugh Jackman musical, like Greatest Showman, Beauty and the Beast, Oklahoma. I mean, that is hugely funny.
Yeah. JL, thank you for the 500 bits. I hope you do a review of Supernatural someday. Jensen Ackles has been cast as Batman. He voiced Batman, but his character Dean really loved Batman.
I hear it's good. Like I said, I just have a million shows to get through, so it'll be a hot minute. But I have heard really good things about it.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. So, Doug, how was Beetlejuice 2?
Good. I mean, I'll just say it again. Some of these will be a little repeats. I don't think it's for everybody, but if you're just looking for a fun, goofy, gothic, silly time, I think you'll get it. If you're looking for like deep characters or even consistent characters, you're not going to get that. But I don't think that's going to break too many audience members. I think they're going in just to have a fun Friday night, and I think they'll get it.
Jack, thank you for the €5 super chat. Hey, Doug, I'm surprised you didn't talk about the joke in Superhero Movie where Aunt May stabs Christopher McDonald in the hand at the dinner scene. Or diner? Dinner? I don't know, sorry.
Dinner scene. I had it, I filmed it, for whatever reason, I pulled it out. I think, because there wasn't much of a joke, I think I just reacted and I said it was really funny. I think the fatigue caught up to me and I was running a little behind. So I'm just like, okay, I gotta finish this up. This isn't entirely needed. I'll cut it out. But I did react. It is very, very funny. For anyone that doesn't know, it's a parody of the scene where Aunt May slaps Willem Dafoe's hand when he's trying to take a bite of the turkey. But instead of slapping it, she stabs it with a knife. And then says, will you say grace? And he's like, it's very, very funny.
Noah, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, how far are you into The Chosen and what are your thoughts? Plus opinion on Jonathan Romy as Jesus and his character / performance.
Oh, fantastic. I don't know. When I get an image, when I'm, hear the idea of like, Jesus and read the Bible and stuff like that, like that's the image I think of. That's the personality. That like he's funny, he's a nice guy, but he's very wise and very spiritual, very loving and welcoming. I love there's an episode where the whole episode is him just talking with kids. Like, it's really sweet and really nice. So yeah, I think he's a perfect, I mean, everyone's pretty perfectly chosen. Yeah, that's the title, isn't it? But yeah, I think this may be the last episode of season 2, I think. So we're still going a little slow, but we're still really enjoying it.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Could you do a review of Mighty Ducks Game Changers? It only lasted 2 seasons because Gordon Bombay left the show for Disney-cember. I watched it throughout the pandemic.
I never even heard of it.
I watched it all. It was fine. It may not be amazing.
Is it just like a live action show about like another Mighty Ducks? And is that basically it?
Basically, they saw Cobra Kai was doing well and were like, what other 80s movies can we do this to?
Gotcha.
And, yeah.
I didn't even get into the original Mighty Ducks that much. Like it's fine for what it is, but it never grabbed me. So I doubt I'll get into the show. So probably not.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Heather and Vox Machina, of the 7 main characters, which one would you say is your least favorite?
While you answer that real quick, I'm a little warm in here. I'm going to turn down the air real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know if I can pick a least favorite. Goodness gracious. I guess if I had to choose someone, as much as I find him funny, it might be Scanlan. Unfortunately. I love him, though. I love all of them.
How dare
Loopy,
you? How dare you?
Thank you for the $10 super chat. I love cute questions, so here's another. Heather, Doug, if you could adopt or mentor a child from a TV show, cartoon, movie, or any other sort of entertainment media, who would it be and why?
So it's rough because on the one hand, I kind of say, boy, it'd be cool to like talk with this character, but I would hate to raise this character. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like, teach this character. As somebody mentioned it before, I think pretty good. Either Max or Lilo. I think those are good. Or Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes. That'd probably be the one. I just love to be like, man, how does that mind work?
Jace, thank you for the $20 super
chat. Wait, Heather, you got to answer too.
Oh gosh, I have to adopt or mentor a child.
Like a fictional kid, though.
Yeah. A fictional one? No way.
A real one? Well, okay. Let me look at a list of real children. Yeah, okay. I guess that was dumb of me to say.
Is it weird if I go with Ed from Cowboy Bebop?
You know, as soon as I start thinking, I'm like, oh, Ed would actually be really interesting too.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with
That makes sense.
Ed from Cowboy Bebop for sure. Jace, thank you for the $20 super chat. This is part 1 of 2. You said if Disney had balls, Nick and Judy would have had a kid in Zootopia 2. You should fanscription that. There's a fan comic that with that idea, but by the end you'll go from, aw, that's puppy love, Goofy movie, to Jesus Christ.
I mean, I just assume if it's a fan-made comic that it would just start off that way. Yeah, I don't know. That probably would get clicks, honestly. I'll put it down as a possibility. We'd have to tread lightly with it, but it is kind of a funny idea and an interesting one. Again, you could kind of talk about like different prejudices and stuff.
Chase, thank you for the $10 super chat. This is part 2 of 2. The fanfic Zootopia comic is called I Will Survive by Borba. Fun fact, the idea of mixing was almost used in Elemental with Wade and Amber having a kid made of steam. Google that concept art. It's cool.
That does sound a little cool. Yeah, that's probably my favorite part of that movie is figuring out, like, I like they kept it vague without going too much of the whole hand thing. Like, well, how did that work? Were they just very lightly doing it, or was there just like a new, element made or something? Like, I like they kept that vague and they left that a little open.
Ruben, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you seen Marriage Story? I thought it was an absolutely brilliant film, and it put me off of getting married. Do you have a favorite scene? Wonderful.
If it's with the right person.
That's true. I never saw Marriage Story, so.
No, this one. Yes, it is. It is very good. It is a movie that, if you see the trailer, you get exactly what you think you're gonna get. And that's fine. It's very well done. It does show, like, I've never been through a divorce, but just the intensity of, like, dedicating so much to a person and then it doesn't work. And just, like, they obviously both show that betrayal in there in a very heartbreaking way. And the acting's very good and everything. But I hate putting it this way. That's it. And you could argue that's all you need. And I agree. But it is one of those things, if you're... I guess everyone's going to take something a little different out of it. I got exactly what I thought I was going to get out of it. Nothing really that new, but I'm like, okay, that was well done. Where I think someone else, maybe that has like a different mindset or gets different things out of different movies, might get something a lot more out of it. So it is a good movie to see. It's a good film to check out in case you are someone that like really takes a lot out of it.
Or Bitten, thank you for the $5 super chat. Did you ever remove Dr. B spasms from your floor, or is he a body stain now?
Boy, I don't remember.
It looks like it's a star, so it might be Dr. Beach, but the bad word, spasms.
I still don't remember. I'm so sorry. Like somebody said, I've been doing this 17 years. It's a lot of episodes. I'm
Patch
sorry.
Adams.
I don't remember.
Dragon's Toy Sayings from the Patch Adams review.
He was like the annoying Patch Adams character I had. Well, he's the former house's problem now. Whoever moved in.
This is my name. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, have you considered games like Until Dawn or The Quarry for Nostalgiaween Twitch gaming? They're basically interactive movies. Yeah, we've brought up Until Dawn before. Until Dawn, I think you'd have a lot of fun with, Doug.
Yeah, well, we were talking about that, so that's definitely on the list of possible games.
RNC Gaming, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, I would like to tell you that Epic Mickey Rebrushed is coming out on September 24th.
Well, how about that? Huh. And we said we had a game picked for our game after Arkham City. Huh? Weird.
So weird. Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Who was your favorite character out of any Mel Brooks movie?
Probably Dark Helmet. Though it's really close with Gene Wilder's character in The Producers. He's pretty phenomenal.
Mustard Man, thank you for the 500 bits. How about a top 11 for Thanksgiving programs? Could be an opportunity to explore how a popular holiday in America has surprisingly few movies based on it.
I mean, that's kind of the problem where I can't even think of 11. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I do think it's a shame there's not like a ton of Thanksgiving movies and specials that like really, really hold up. But then again, maybe that's kind of what's cool about it. Like you go to the same like 2 or 3 and, everyone has like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in there. So it's kind of nice that you don't have to like go through a bunch of like different ones. Like before the holiday pops up, you can just watch that one or two. But like I said, I don't even know if there's 11 I could name.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Watch the Big Bang Theory episode where Sheldon becomes a virtual presence device. You'll laugh.
A virtual presence device?
Yeah.
All right, no, just the idea alone intrigues me.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Did you ever watch the 90s Mighty Max cartoon?
Just a little bit. It was like on before I had to go to school. I didn't have to work that young. And I don't remember it being like good or bad. It was just kind of there. It was just kind of a generic cartoon. But again, my memory of it isn't that great.
Chase, thank you for the $10 super chat. You mentioned seeing the Christian series Superbook as a kid. Did you know the person who voiced Chris in Superbook also voiced Jack in that creepy Jack and the Beanstalk you reviewed? Knowing that, are you happy?
Are you happy? I don't think I saw Superbook. Oh, wait.
I've seen Superbook.
No, I have not. Hold on, let me double check, make sure this isn't
I know Tara and I
Okay.
have.
Oh, the original. Okay, the anime, because I typed it in, I saw the CG show, and I'm like, oh, this one. Okay. That's another one where I barely remember. I just remember that little robot. To a point, I didn't even know it was a religious show. That's how little I remember it. But that does make sense, because even the style looks a little bit like that Jack and the Beanstalk movie.
Michael, thank you for the $5 super chat. Remember me mentioning Hey Dude at the party? Finally watched some episodes. It was certainly one of the 90s Nickelodeon shows of all time.
Oh, what a I was gonna say shame, but I don't know. That's kind of like what we talked about. That's kind of what we assumed it was gonna be. But that theme song, man, just like, hey dude. I mean, that's just, you could just play that over and over and I'd be happy.
At Movies, thank you for the 500 bits. NC for the DuckTales movie. It turns 35 next year.
Maybe I did Disney December on it. Like there's stuff to talk about. It's not like great, but it's all right. It's not a bad movie. I don't know. I'll have to see if I'm just feeling in the mood. Maybe I will.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. I have nobody to watch movies or TV shows with anymore. Wish you guys could do group watches. Yeah, Twitch got rid of watch parties, so it's
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
But you could always go out and meet new people to watch it with as well.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Which cartoon best friend do you like more, Heifer from Rocco or Patrick from SpongeBob?
I get asked this question a lot, weirdly. Probably Heifer. I don't know. His kind of dumb is just a little bit more enjoyable for me.
Majestic Demon, thank you for the 500 bits. Speaking of Inside Out 2, it has passed Lion King 2019, making it the definitive highest grossing animated film of all time. To quote Scar, long live the king, and then tosses Lion King 2019 into the gorge.
Nice. That's really nice to hear. I don't know. On the one hand, it's kind of like, oh, it sucks that it's a sequel, but I'm glad it's that sequel. And it's like, it's the sequel. Just for years, I said I want to see a sequel to this, and I just love, I don't know, it's like when you're proven right, but you're proven so right, like it's a good feeling, and it so rarely happens for me. So it's pretty nice to see.
The Music, thank you for the $5 super chat. What are your best and worst Spielberg films?
I mean, so this is where it gets real. Like best objectively, I mean, you gotta look at like Schindler's List or Duel or something like that. But like my personal favorite, I mean, like Jurassic Park, Last Crusade. I've got a soft spot for 1941. Worst, DFG is pretty bad. I'd have to look at some. Lost World, I didn't think was very good. Kind of gets on my nerves. I guess those are good for now. I'm sure it's others, but those are good.
Preview review, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug, with you being a big Lord of the Rings fan, I've always wanted to know your thoughts on the Hobbit trilogy. Also, any interest in the new Lord of the Rings anime film?
I'm, between that and the Christopher Reeve documentary, I'm surprised they're coming to the big screen because those seem like Max movies, but I'm glad they are, because I think that's kind of a risk to do, like in a good way, like something where it's like, man, that would be interesting. Both of those to see with a crowd on the big screen, I think would be really, really interesting. I'm excited for it. I was talking to Rob about it, and he was kind of like, so when I didn't know it was on the big screen, I was like, oh, this looks good, and he's like, yeah, it's not like a great story, but it's all right, I guess. And then when I told him it was on the big screen, he's like, ooh. Like that suddenly gets you really like an anime, a Lord of the Rings anime on the big screen is suddenly really exciting. And I want to say, oh, my thoughts on the Hobbit trilogy. I love the first one. I really, really enjoy the first one a great deal. That's kind of what I want Fellowship to be, more of that style. I didn't like the second one. I never saw the third one. I heard I'm missing nothing.
Jace, thank you for the $10 super chat. I suggest The Greatest Showman for a review because the updated Moulin Rouge thumbnail has you dressed as P.T. Barnum. I hope that was meant to be a subtle hint, because wasn't Brental Floss the one who dressed up?
Yeah, it was well, so Rob did that one. I think he was just getting like different images and stuff like that. And we definitely want to do it. I don't know when we're going to get around to it, because I know it's going to take a little bit more time and effort, but yeah, that movie's so much fun. I can't say it's good, but it is so much fun.
Daryl, thank you for the 10-pound super chat. Hi, Doug. Daryl from Brighton, England. Do you know if you would do Dumb and Dumber 2?
So I feel bad because the first one didn't do that great, but I think it's because it got a claim on it, and that probably messed it up in the algorithm. So, I don't know. I don't remember like really disliking it that much. But I also don't remember being as good as the first one. So maybe there's something to talk about, but it is one of those things where it's like, well, okay, do I do the sequel to a video that didn't do that great and I don't have like a ton of passion to talk about? Like, maybe, I guess if the mood just strikes me right, maybe I will.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Since you're near the end of Arkham City, I was wondering, what do you think of Hugo Strange in the game?
I mean, they keep him pretty mysterious, which I think is intentional. It was in the last stream, we are talking a little bit about his motivations, and it's like, yeah, it's a little nonsensical, but I think that's just kind of part of it. Like, well, he's crazy, you know, they go nuts. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's always kind of Batman villains. But a lot of it will ride on the last moments in the game, I think, because, you know, obviously he has all these, you know, he's playing like 4D chess or whatever they call it, 4-level layered chess, all that stuff. And so it's like, so what's it building up to? What's his big the big payoff going to be? And I'll judge him mostly by that, because he is so much in the shadows and you just hear his voice. But I mean, he's intimidating. Like, he's definitely a good presence.
Wild Katarn, thank you for the $5 super chat. A reminder that for the first time ever, the entire Beetlejuice the Animated Series is available for free on Tubi.
Cool. I already have it on DVD because I did like that show quite a bit. And that's another one of those. I can't even say it's great, but it's just so creative and so odd. And I just love the style of it that I'm like, yeah, I got to own all these.
Pierre, thank you for the $2 super chat. Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Saw the Ant Bully review. I forgot Nova was voiced by Julia Roberts. With the facial expressions and vocal tone delivery, I thought it was Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, they do kind of have similar voices, don't they? Yeah, I'm not even a big Julia Roberts fan. I thought she actually did that really well. I thought she was really charming in that role.
Stead, thank you for the $5 super chat. Sup, Doug? What are your favorite DreamWorks franchises? And thank you also for the clarification of how to pronounce your name. I'm not great at that sometimes.
Favorite franchise. I mean, like How to Train Your Dragon, Kung Fu Panda, parts of Shrek, you know, and same thing with Puss in Boots, because the first one was kind of forgettable, but the second one's amazing. Something about the second Shrek movies are really, really good, I find.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of the Spy Kids trilogy? I liked the second movie more than the first one myself.
I remember liking the first one more. You know what? If you want a comparison, what the new Beetlejuice movie is like, it's like the first Spy Kids, where it's like, this is like, it's hard to say this all works, but it's just so bizarre and strange and so unique and fun that you just kind of go along with it. The second one I remember being all right, but it had more kind of like, you know, chinks in the armor. And the third one I reviewed, I didn't think was very good. I never did see the fourth one. I keep forgetting there is a fourth one.
Cameron, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, Doug, been watching Since the Room review religiously. Any chance of a Brendan Fraser month? My first movie I watched of his when I was a kid was Blast from the Past.
I like that movie. Yeah, it's a very fun movie. I'd have to think about what to do. I guess there's another Mummy movie. Maybe I could do like George of the Jungle, because there's some fun stuff to talk about in there, and I like that movie. I don't know. We'll see. You're not the first one to recommend that.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Have you seen Silicon Valley?
No. I think I've heard of it. It's a series, right? But I have not seen it. I'm sorry.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. It's when they release their new iPhones every year with new iOS software.
Okay.
They just do a presentation.
Gotcha. I get why people get excited for that and watch and everything. I'm one of those people where I wait until I absolutely have to get the stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always the last person to get a cell phone, the last person to like hop on the email and stuff like that. I was always one of those where I'm like, well, I don't want to unless I know I absolutely have to. Every time I do, it's always an advantage. It's usually a good thing. But yeah, there's also, for everything I finally get onto, there's about 20 other things that I say, no, that's not going to go anywhere, and usually doesn't.
Brooks, thank you for the $5 super chat. What do you think of doing a Nostalgia Critic review of the movie 2012?
I never saw it. I heard it's one of those so bad it's good movies. I write that down. I should. I think I had on the list before and I took it off. It's like, I should put that back on there.
Theater Grad, thank you for the 500 bits. Did you hear about the new villains-themed land coming to Disney World?
Ooh. No. That's exciting. I'm very excited for that.
Sorry, I had something go down my throat. Weird.
Okay.
Landon, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you seen TMNT 2003 and 2012 shows, and what did you think of them? A lot of people consider them superior to the 87 show.
I like the 87 show, but it's not like, no, the sacred text. It's like, it's pretty silly. I mean, of course, it's always going to be silly, but I've only seen a little bit of the 2003 one. I was liking it, though. I felt like it was taking itself a little too seriously. The Nickelodeon one, I haven't really seen that much of, but I hear it's really great. Like, that's probably the best show. And I just haven't gotten around to watching it. Everyone says it's really, really good, but I just, sadly haven't gotten around to it.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay, Doug, one must go. Spirited Away, Mary Poppins, Into the Spider-Verse, Secrets of Nim.
I'll say Into the Spider-Verse because I have the sequel, which is better. So I'm okay with that.
All right, great. Dylan, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, you should do an NC for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That way you can make jokes about Matthew Broderick driving. If you know, you know.
Now, that is just bad taste. Clearly, the jokes to do is Jeffrey Jones chasing a teapot. Sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I just saw Beetlejuice 2. It was on my mind. By the way, that movie really doesn't like Jeffrey Jones. When you see what they do with his character, it's they really want you to know, not unfittingly so. They do not like him, and justifiably so. But I don't know. I don't have a ton to say about that movie. I like it. I like it fine. It's not one of those where it held like a special place in my heart or anything. But it's fun. It's a good time. It's. I don't think I'm the one to talk about though, to bring like a new point of view to it.
Dylan, thank you for the $2 super chat. Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the SpongeBob SquarePants movie and the Powerpuff Girls movie, who do you think is the better villain, Plankton or Mojo Jojo?
I like Mojo Jojo. I like the voice. I like the backstory. With both of them, nothing works, but there's just... I think I like Mojo Jojo because he does have legit... I like the characters. This is why I like Dark Helmet, who legit has like the people and the power and the technology, and they still screw up. That's just so much funnier to me than, is someone who legit has nothing, which is also funny, like Pinky and the Brain and everything. But I that's just such a high level of incompetence that it cracks me up.
Duke, thank you for the $10 super chat. Not sure if someone asked this, but will you be doing 2 commercial segments, one non-holiday and one holiday one?
We've always talked about whether or not to do like a Halloween commercial one. But they're so close together because we always do our commercial special in November. So it doesn't quite feel right. I don't know, maybe because once in a while I'll do like a special little thing where it's like, it's not quite a full episode, but it's kind of like a half and half thing like I do with like the Cosby commercials and stuff. So maybe I'll do that at some point. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to that this year though.
Stead, thank you for the $10 super chat, and I think they didn't realize that we have a list because it's the same question about what are your favorite DreamWorks franchise, and then clarification on how to pronounce their name.
No, see, previous.
Chris, thank you for the $5 super chat. Would you ever consider checking out the show Young Justice? It's a fantastic superhero cartoon with maturity and thematic grace seen in few shows.
I've seen a little bit of it, and it was very good. And I don't know who any of the characters are or anything. Just I think I was just at a hotel or something. I stumbled across 2 episodes, and without knowing a thing about it, I was really getting sucked into it. So I know it's on Max. It's another one of those I have saved with like Static Shock and Batman Beyond. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. It's just, again, got a lot of stuff to watch.
John, thank you for the $5 super chat. Are you familiar with the films of Andrei Tarkovsky, Soviet filmmaker of the 70s and 80s, best known for Solaris, Stalker, and Andrei Rublev?
It sounds a little familiar. I'm sure I'm spelling it wrong. Hold on. No, that's definitely not it. How do you spell the last name?
Tarkovsky.
There she is. Oh, him. Sorry. So it shows, I mean, that I don't know that much about him, obviously. Let's see. I don't think I have. I feel like I've heard this name, but I don't think I've seen these movies. I will try to check them out.
Ronnie, thank you for the $5 super chat. What's up, Mr. Douglas Skywalker on the haters? Knowing that you're from Chirac, who are your top 3 rappers with a Z?
So the truth is, I didn't really, I mean, you could argue even now I'm not super into it or brushed up on. I didn't really get into rap until like years later. So a lot of it I'm like catching up on. And part of the reason I did get into is because I would hear like the stories and the backgrounds of these rappers, and they were really, really interesting. But yeah, man, favorites. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be stuff like, you know, like I guess Snoop Dogg, I guess Biggie was really, really good. You know, just ones from like the 80s and 90s, because again, I'm not that brushed up on it. But yeah, Tupac, the little I heard, was really, really good. Like it's like the same thing with metal. Like I just kind of know the generic big ones. So yeah, although, what's that show? Because of course I know this guy. I think he's called like Dicky or Lil Dicky, something like that. He's like a comedic rapper, and he's pretty funny. So yeah, and Eminem's all right. I never quite got into him as much as everyone else did, but you know, he's all right. Yeah, I'm not the one to ask about it.
The Ultimate Frozen Fan, thank you for the $5 super chat. Just recently watched your food fight review. Hilarious. Next, you should do an NC for Ratatouille ripoff, Ratatouing. It's just as bad, if not worse.
I've heard about it. Every once in a while, I'll get like a recommendation for like a, you know, one of these little rip-off movies that, you know, are clearly trying to cash in on our film coming out. And that is what the Ratatouille one I've heard a lot about. So maybe I'll look into it at some point.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Could you do a review of Transformers Armada?
I'm not even sure I know what that is. I mean, I know Transformers, but I don't know if that's a show or a movie or what. Probably not, because so Transformers is another one where I've talked about and I like them. I was never quite a super diehard fan of it. You know, I'm someone that likes the first Michael Bay movie fine, because I thought that's the kind of movie they would make at that time, and I was just happy to see Optimus Prime in it. I mean, because that's how kind of low the bar was. So yeah, I think that's something you probably want to hand off to like a Transformers diehard fan, like an expert kind of thing.
Theater Grad, thank you for the 500 bits. Have you ever commissioned an artist to create artwork for you in the past? If yes, do you have any favorite pieces?
I'm trying to think. So we've definitely done stuff for like you know, like the Channel Awesome, like little anniversary movies and stuff like that. The coolest one I can think of is that when we did the one for Kick-Assy, I just asked this guy, I liked his work. And he said, oh yeah, a big fan, everything. And he did it look, I mean, you see it, spectacular, so amazing. And when Suburban Nights came around, I asked him again, I said, hey, so you did such a good job on the, you know, first one, you down for doing another one? He said, oh, I like to, but I'm working on a Spielberg movie. I'm like, Oh, you're like real people. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. Please, go work for Spielberg. Like, holy smokes, did we get like an amazing artist there? Like, we lucked out big time. Not
That's
to say
awesome.
at all there aren't like other amazing artists out there, not working for Spielberg and stuff like that. But no, and it's always really cool. Well, even the guy who did like that Joker there, I did a panel with him, and he's worked on like Pacific Rim and like the Ninja Turtles movies and like so it's so cool when you discover these artists that not only are so talented, but you've seen their work and not even known it in other places. So I just love that. It's so cool.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Which villain do you like more, Chairface Chippendale from Tick or the Lobe from Freakazoid?
Chairface, the idea is funnier, but in terms of the character, I think Loeb is funny. I love David Warner's voice. He has a very dignified voice, but when he wants to be funny, he can be very, very funny.
Crass, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on the Saturday Night trailer?
I thought it looked good. My favorite movie of I forget his name. Jason Reitman, is that it? Is Thank You for Smoking. And even though I like his other films, I always kind of want him to go back to that style again. I'm not saying this is like a complete return to that, but it is a little bit. It has a little bit more of like a harsher tone to it, which I think is good for Saturday Night Live. So yeah, I thought it looked pretty interesting. I'm hoping it's good.
Hayden, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hi, Doug, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for all the laughs. Any jokes from the NC/Channel Awesome that you were surprised became popular? Thanks, you rock.
I mean, that honestly,
you're just pointing at the computer.
Yeah, just pointing at the computer. I just shot it in like a millisecond. I had no idea what to do, and I'm like, I'll just do some images of, just some video of me pointing at the computer. I'll put text in later. I'll figure it out. And, that's probably like the most popular thing I've ever done. Like to a point where when I go to conventions, I have a print of it now because somebody recognized me from that meme. And I'm like, all right, I should just make a print of this.
Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. Who would win in a fight with the cast of Channel Awesome? My money's on Malcolm. It would be Doug. He boxes. Look at him staring up into the abyss like he's not going to beat us all to a pulp.
No, man. Malcolm's pretty fit. But honestly, I'll say Rob because he'll play dirty.
Ooh. All right. He's your brother. You can say that. Yeah. Dylan, thank you for the $2 super chat. Optinate, thank you for the $2 super chat. Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Outside of Keaton himself, were there any performances in Beetlejuice 2 that you thought stole the show?
Just about all of them. Everybody is so much fun. I mean, really, the performances save what's kind of a lackluster script. The script is creative, but and some of the jokes work. But like I said, there's a lot of things that don't make a whole lot of sense, particularly with like the characters. But I thought everyone's acting was really, really good. There's some that are a little just not as good as the others. Like Ortega, isn't great, but the character doesn't have a ton to work with. Kind of the same thing with Ryder. Like they didn't give her a ton to do in it, but she still does it great. No, honestly, the performances is probably one of the major reasons I think people are going to enjoy the film. I guess they're pointing to Catherine O'Hara a lot more. Like, I don't know, is this like the O'Hara Sans now? Because I just hear more and more people saying she's she's fantastic, but it's like, it's interesting that now just more and more people are commenting on her, right? You know what it might be? Because she was such a big hit in Schitt's Creek. I think, and not a lot of people have seen her kind of older acting in something except for Schitt's Creek. So I think when they see her in Beetlejuice, they're expecting that character. And then they do get, the one from Beetlejuice. I mean, it's that character again. And they're like, wow, she looks just like the character from Schitt's Creek, but it's the character from Beetlejuice again. And it's just so, I know it sounds so silly, but it's like, wow, she just still has that energy and she can just completely transform without really having to change how she looks at all. I mean, she's as good as everyone else in my opinion. They're all really, really great. But at the same time, I am glad she's getting a lot more credit because she's always been fantastic.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Possible review or Disney-sember of G-Force. Nicolas Cage voices the villain in a film about guinea pigs.
Yeah, I probably should. That's another one of those I always put on the list. And I think at some point I took it off, and I'm like, wait, yeah, why'd I do that? Because everybody always asks for that film. So yeah, I'll put it back on.
Crass, thank you for the $5 super chat. If you ever review Charlotte's Web 2, here's a fact. The little black lamb in it is voiced by Boots from Dora. That makes the fox scenes a tad weirder.
When you said Charlotte's Web 2, I thought you were joking. I'm like, that's right, they did make one. It was like one of those straight to DVD. I think they saw the Disney straight to DVD movies were doing so well, so they're like, all right, let's try it with this. Yeah, I guess I never did see it. And based on how the numbers for the other Charlotte's Web did, I probably won't.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. And Where the Wild Things Are, what do you think of the scene where Max talks to Alexander in the fort after the dirt clot fight? It's a simple scene, but I really like it.
I mean, I think that's the one where they're just kind of laying there too and talking again. That just seems so kiddish. Like when you've worked yourself up, you play to her, and then you just collapse on the ground. Like everyone sort of collapses, and they just kind of talk. You have that weird euphoric, sort of like energy where it's like, man, your energy's up, but you're tired, so your brain is kind of going. And then you ask like questions that are maybe deep, but not deep, but they feel deep. If that makes sense. I don't know. I thought that movie just so captured that mindset of a kid like working through his problems without knowing he's working through his problems. And I think that's another moment where that's represented very well.
John, thank you for the $5 super chat. What's your all-time favorite Looney Tunes short?
Probably What's Opera Doc. I know that's cliched, but
Embrace the cliche.
I've talked about maybe doing like a list of like favorite Looney Tunes shorts, and most are the ones you would think they are. But no, you know what? We did a video before. I think it's something called like 4 Grown Men Talking About Looney Tunes, something like that, where I talk with Brad and James about their favorite Looney Tunes, and I think I list most of them there. Not all of them, but most of them are on there.
USS Salem, thank you for the $2 super chat. Eagle Scout Myers, thank you for the $10 super chat. If you would take a suggestion on shows, may I make a suggestion? The suggestion is Code Lyoko, a retro show about 5 teens going against an evil virus.
I've heard about it. If it's like part of like, that might have been something like, I don't know, like Kids WB or Toonami or something like that. And I think it's one of those where we knew it was a name, but none of us saw it. Mm-hmm. So, and sadly, I'm just not gonna have time to watch it. If you've watched the rest of the stream, I have so many other things to watch, particularly shows. So I probably won't have time, but I have heard it's very popular, and I have heard it's very good.
Ronnie G, thank you for the $2 super chat. Patrick, thank you for the $5 super chat. When you do 2017 Power Rangers, will it be a sketched review with Malcolm and Tamra?
I don't know. I guess the other ones we did a lot of like sketches and interactions and stuff like that. So we'll see. If I watch it and it kind of strikes me in that vein, maybe it will.
Patrick, thank you for the $5 super chat. Why haven't you done movie series reviews in a while, like Austin Powers and Shrek?
Part of it's the fatigue. I have several listed. And the big thing is that they're movies I would have to watch all of. And sometimes even just watching one extra movie is tough. Like I think with Transformers, I got like 2 movies left to see. And just getting around to those is tricky. I have like the 50 Shades movies on there because I've only seen the first one. I just don't want to see the other 2 because the first one was so boring. So there is a list on there, but it is one of those things where I just haven't. It might have been over a year the more I think about it. I don't know. I guess I had weirdly energy to do it about a year or 2 ago. And like I said, with the fatigue and everything, it is a touch training.
Kirok, thank you for the 4-month membership over on YouTube. Welcome back. Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Doug, last time I was on stream, I asked if you would ever do Stand By Me. Not asking again, but I am curious your personal thoughts to it and compare it to Shawshank in terms of narrative telling.
I guess they're both kind of similar. It's a very good movie. I really enjoyed it. I think I put it on like the top 11 best King movies. I'm pretty sure when I did the list. I'd be shocked if I didn't. No, I really enjoy it. It's always kind of nice when you see kind of a coming of age movie like that. It's done more now, but it wasn't as much back then. That really did have kind of that tough grit to it, like that real harshness. Sometimes to a fault, like I said, I still think the bullies are a little boring in it. Bully boring, there you go. But yeah, it's still a very, very well done film. I love the acting in it is very believable, and it's just sort of the atmosphere of it is very well done. It's a good flick. In terms of comparing it to Shawshank, they're both good. I don't know. I don't know how to compare them that well in that respect.
Brady, thank you for the $5 super chat. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched Deadpool and Wolverine yet. Do you find it funny that they saved the day by holding hands? It was
I never
wonderful.
thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and love does rule out in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I do like that because I really thought they were going to kill off at least one of them, and I like that neither of them die, and it did not feel like a cop out. I thought that worked very, very well.
Kirok, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug and Heather, by the way, I hope you are both well and life is treating you both good.
Back at you. Thank you so much.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. There was a scene that was cut from Into the Spider-Verse that I think they should have kept. Peter tells Miles he can't focus on saving the world and instead focus on saving one person he loves. It would have been especially good to keep that due to Miles' determination to save his father and Across the Spider-Verse. What are your thoughts?
Maybe they saw that scene in Justice League, the Whedon cut, and they're just like, nah, it didn't work there, cut it out. I know, because all I'm going to think about it is the Whedon cut. I'd have to see how they did it in the movie. Maybe I'll try to find that deleted scene.
Optinate, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey, Doug, what are your thoughts on Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog?
So I don't know much about the character, except apparently they has a really dark backstory, because when I react now, I'm like, yeah, it's got kind of a dark edge to it. I'm sure it's not going to be that dark. Everyone's like, dude.
No one's spoiling.
Dude.
No one tell, Doug.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I just know apparently it's super, super dark. So that's just kind of even more, I think, even more cool that Reeves is playing him. I don't know, when people talk about like the Renaissance and the Catherine O'Hara-sance and whatever and stuff like that, I'm really ecstatic for how well the Keanu Reeves-sance has come, because I really didn't think he was anything that special when he was younger. Like, I liked him as, Ted and the comedies and stuff, but I did not think he was a good dramatic actor, and I think he's really come around. Like, he is very, very good now, and both in comedy and drama. So, of course, as a physical performer too. So, yeah, I'm ecstatic to see him really come around and do some really good stuff.
Spidey Speaks, thank you for the $5 super chat. Heather, how are you able to read both Twitch and YouTube chats? I have 3 monitors set up here. So I just have the chats popped out on my side over here, YouTube on top, Twitch on bottom. But I also have a recent events tab over in this area over here that you see me reading from Streamlabs, because we use Streamlabs as our alert system. So that's where I have the list of all the questions in that, like, popped out recent event tabs over here.
She's also amazing at what she does.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you. Bud the Stud, thank you for the $5 super chat. Are you thinking about reviewing Tremors?
Yeah, I always have it on the list for Nostalgia Ween, and then it gets bumped for something else like every single time. I love that movie. I mean, everybody loves that movie. And that is something else, too. I feel like everybody's reviewed it. It is one of those things where it's like, well, can I add anything that new to it? But I'm like, I'm sure I can. It's Tremors. It's such a boatload of fun.
Ruby Moon Rose, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hey, dude, love your videos. What's your opinion of the Sonic 3 trailer? Love it. Think it'll kill Mufasa at the box office?
I honestly can't see how it wouldn't. I know it's really interesting that they're having them come out at the same time. I would bump Mufasa, honestly. I would bump it to an earlier or later date, because I don't know, that's Sonic 3, man. I mean, like in the Disney, live action remakes, even the whatever prequels, whatever, are really like stepping down. Like, people just aren't as into them as they were before, where I feel like people are pretty excited about Sonic, and kind of rightfully so. It looks like fun. And I actually thought Mufasa looked okay, surprisingly. Like, it'll probably suck, like they all do, but and maybe it'll be one of those that's like, it's close to being good, like Cruella, or Pete's Dragon or something like that. So I hope they move the date, because I don't want to have to, choose one over the other. But yeah, if I do, it's going to be Sonic 3.
Ricky, thank you for the $5 super chat. I probably missed the full ending of the recent review, but you should have mentioned the alternate ending with Kevin Hart wanting to be named Black Rooster.
Yeah, I missed that. I didn't see that in or the deleted scenes or whatever, but I guess I should have mentioned that.
Crass, thank you for the $5 super chat. I dare you to watch all 3 Fred movies. You've been dared.
Well, I've been dared. I have this rule that, I mean, for a while it wasn't like an official thing, but I've kind of made it like an official thing to not really talk about other YouTubers' works unless it's something where it's like like Has Been Hotel or something, like I really, really like can praise and just go on and on about how, good it is, kind of thing. Like a very unique, one of a kind experience kind of thing. Because I don't know, if there's one thing I feel like we're not short of, it's YouTubers making fun of other YouTubers and backstabbing each other and saying shit about them and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's enough of that. I think there needs to be more support out there. Or at the very least, you don't have to jump on something, when everyone else has made fun of it. Because I'm assuming those probably didn't get the best response. I'm assuming. I've never seen any of Fred. I know what it is. I know it's like a kid that speeds up the voice and everything. Didn't look like my thing, but it's like at the same time, it's this little kid who made like this empire, out of just speeding up his voice. Like that's phenomenal. So yeah, it doesn't feel wise for me to do. I don't think I'm the one to do it. That's not all to say other people do it shame or anything. No, it's just not something that I'm comfortable doing.
Oscar, thank you for the $5 super chat. No message, just the chat. Bud the Stud, thank you for the $5 super chat. I think maybe they didn't know that we have a list. Are you going to review the Tremors movies?
Someday.
Dylan, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you heard of Goodbye Volcano High and fan game Snoot Game? Both are about dinosaur people at school, but they take very different approaches. I played Goodbye Volcano High and I loved it.
I just love this is a genre of dinosaur school.
I don't know if you would like Goodbye Volcano High because it's kind of more of like a visual novel than anything else, but I
love the title. The idea is fun too. I wouldn't mind, maybe I'll just look them up afterwards just to see how you do that differently, because I feel like there's only kind of one way to do it, but maybe I'm wrong.
The Fifth Chris, thank you for the $5 super chat. I was watching old panels you attended years ago and found a bizarre video of you dressed as a preacher called Reverend Nutjob. Context?
So there used to be a thing whenever I go to a convention, again, when I had a lot more energy. It was my first time doing conventions, so I wanted to get invited back to them and stuff, so I'd go film something, always do like something to make a video, bring your work with you, make a video out of what you're doing there. And that was one, I was just doing the thing where I was like pretending to heal like people in the audience and stuff like that. So that's about all I remember about it. I remember it being cute, but I don't remember any jokes from it or anything.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Rings of Power. Doug, watch it.
I started when the first one came out, and it wasn't bad. It was just kind of boring to me, so I didn't get into it. But Rob says he's been watching, he saw the first season, kind of the same thing, he didn't get into it. But he says this new season so far has been really good, particularly because Sauron is more in the focus. So he was saying he was getting more. He's like, now it's only 3 episodes in, it hasn't finished or anything, but he's like, so far it's not that bad. He's a Tolkien nut.
Yeah,
like he is obsessed with this stuff. He knows all the appendixes and stuff like that. So if and I did ask him, like, can I just skip the first season? He's like, I don't know, it might be a little tough. I'm like, okay. So we'll see. But he was saying it actually, because there's more focus on Sauron and it's done, he's handled pretty well. That's pretty good.
Danish Faye, thank you for the 500 bits. I don't know if this has been asked before, but what are your opinions / thoughts on movies made based on games like Lego or Minecraft with Jack Black and Jason Momoa?
I mean, is Lego really based on a game?
Well, like a toy.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, like anything, it can be done well. Games, as a lot of people said, are trickier because so much of the entertainment comes from the interaction of it. Like I didn't think Last of Us was going to be that good because even though like the story's fine and everything, I'm like, but you need that choice. You need to feel like you're going on this adventure with this person because if not, it's just every other zombie story you've seen, with maybe an interesting ending, but they really did a lot of great stuff with it. It turned out very, very well. To a point where I was like, I could have used a few more episodes, honestly, to go drag this out a little bit more. So, it just depends on how it's done, but I do understand how tricky it is to do. You really have to add some new elements. You have to be really, really smart about it, and that's not always easy.
Brady Wells, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you ever watched a movie that made you lose the will to live? For me, it was Food Fight.
I don't know if this is like, it's not exactly that, but it's kind of in the same vein. So we saw a movie called The Florida Project on Christmas because we thought it was going to be kind of like The Sandlot. Like it was just kind of this lighthearted, like just these kids in Florida getting into trouble. And it's not that. It is a heavy, heavy, heavy movie to watch. And because my wife and I, we should go to like her folks' place on Christmas, and then we'll go to like my folks or my family's place afterwards. So we have like a little bit of time in between. And we're like, yeah, let's just put on this movie. It's kind of short. We saw it, and just the whole rest of the night going to my family's get together, we were just like in this daze, like just still thinking about that movie, like, oh my god. And just even as we're driving home, I just said, I'm still thinking about that movie. Are you? She's like, yeah. And it's like, that movie ruined Christmas. Like, it's very, very good. It's very well done. But it is not an upper. It's a very difficult movie to get through to a point where it kind of ruined our Christmas that year.
King Croker, thank you for the 500 bits. Would you rather have a video you loved making but never saw the light of day, or a video you hated that became the most popular one in your history?
I guess it depends on how much love was involved and how much misery was involved. I mean, if it's something where it's like, I don't know, somebody died on set or something, I mean, well, no, I don't want that to happen, even if it becomes really popular. But, if like the thing happening was like, oh, that was just, a good shoot. It was fun. I don't know. Actually, I would probably prefer that the more I think about it. Because, you can just record something else later. You can't recreate great memories.
Crass, thank you for the $5 super chat. People think Fred is bad, but I feel it kind of developed internet dark humor in a way. I also love how obviously gay he was. It was lovable.
Sure. I've never seen any of it. Like I said, if you show me a clip, I'll recognize it. I've never seen, like, I couldn't even tell you a joke, aside from the voice's high pitch.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In the Looney Tunes show, which couple do you like more, Bugs and Lola or Daffy and Tina?
I guess when you think about it, they're both pretty unhealthy, aren't they? The funnier one is probably Bugs and Lola, because I really like the way they reworked that character. But Daffy's also a great character in that show too. So they're both pretty funny. But yeah, I'll say Bugs and Lola. I remember getting more laughs. That image of her just waiting in the rain with her eyes glowing while they're singing that song just still cracks me up.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. So speaking of Spielberg, my favorite movie of his is Saving Private Ryan. What are your honest thoughts? Please be gentle.
I have to see it again because I go through different motions with that movie. When I first saw it, absolutely loved it. Like, that's always what I thought of war movies. I was a teen and I wanted the war is hell, movie, but with, some complex, shades of gray in there and everything. And then I saw it again, and it's pretty obvious, and there's a lot of stuff they do where I'm like, all right, they wouldn't do that. Okay, well, that's just movie-ish. Okay, now it's time for the speech. All right. And it felt a little phony. And then when I think back to it, I'm like, okay, there's phony moments, but there's very real moments in it, too. And I can't remember if they mix well or not. I probably got to see it again. So, yeah, it's a very complicated way of saying there's good stuff and bad stuff.
The last time I saw Saving Private Ryan was just last year, actually, because they did a special showing at a theater near me right around Father's Day, and it was kind of funny because it was just me and my dad. That was like my present to him. Like, we're going to go to this anniversary screening of Saving Private Ryan. It was like me, my dad, and then like 5 other people. It was like the dad and the kid, and it was pretty funny because it was just towards the end, all you heard were the dads being like... sniffing because they were crying.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I'm not crying. Just a movie theater full of dads trying to not cry.
The funniest World War II movie ever made.
JL, thank you for the 500 bits. Do a review of the movie Knowing.
I guess I never saw that movie. I didn't hear that many great things about it, but I have heard people recommend it to me. I'll see. I'll probably try like another like Nicolas Cage movie or something like that to see if like if he still has the power on Nostalgia Critic. You know what I mean? To bring people in. If it does well, maybe I'll do Knowing, because I don't know if people get into it as much. I don't know if that's like one of his famous, kind of bad movies.
John McKinney, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you ever played Bully by Rockstar Games? It's basically GTA in high school meets South Park.
No, I heard it's pretty fun, but I never have played it.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you have any plans to review what is arguably Pixar's worst film, Cars 2?
I did Disney December on it. That was enough.
I'll
say this. Well, it's not even like, I mean, Lightyear's a bad movie and it's very boring, but it is interesting to talk about. Cars 2 isn't even interesting to talk about. Like, even like, was it that The Good Dinosaur? Again, very boring, not very good. But it's like there's stuff you can discuss. Like, there's nothing to discuss in Cars 2. Yeah, I don't think I could get much out of it.
Jace, thank you for the $5 super chat. Did you see the new Hell of a Boss short called Weeaboo Boo? It hilariously mocks and fulfills every goth and monster-loving anime girl's disturbing dream.
No, I haven't seen any of the shorts. I keep forgetting they're a thing. I should probably look them up. I think especially now that I'm getting closer to like, having to do like Disney Decembers and stuff like that, I'm trying to like rush a few, the last few things I have to see for Disney December in there. So yeah, on top of the already tight watching schedule I have, it's going to be even trickier.
Crass, thank you for the $5 super chat. I know I'm going to mess this up. I'm sorry. Also, thoughts on Jeff and Jeff in TGAMM. They are literally so damn cute I could die, and I feel it's literally on purpose. I don't know
TGAMM. Let's see.
I don't know what TGA.
The Ghost of Molly McGee. Okay.
There you go.
That's right. And what was it again? It was
Jeff, and then I think it's also Jeff. It's GEOFF, and then also
that's
regular Jeff spelling.
Yeah, I remember them being fine. I'm trying to remember what there was some sort of running joke with the goofier one. I'm trying to remember what it was. Like, there's some sort of misunderstanding or something. Maybe it was the spelling of his name. I can't remember, but I remember getting laughs when that character was on screen. The more goofier one, and then the other one was fine too. Yeah, I remember them being funny.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. What do you think of the dinosaur episode of Rick and Morty? I love the scene where they ask the president what happened to their species, and he nervously replies, "They died way before us. We didn't see nothing."
I thought it was pretty funny. Again, that's another one where as soon as it starts, you're just like, okay, where's this gonna go? I just love when you start an episode like that. And like they'll present you with a premise and then you're like excited, like, oh man, there's a whole half hour they have to explore this idea. And that was one of those where I remember I was just like, oh man, this is gonna be fun.
Shouting Joker, thank you for the 506 bits. This might be a crazy concept for Disney, but it's been going through my head. A live-action Timon and Pumbaa show on Disney Plus based on the animated show from the 90s.
Live action? Like, you mean kind of like the CG from the newer Lion King? I mean, like, I don't know how you would do live, like, unless you just get like Nathan Lane and the other guy just in these bad costumes where like their faces are showing through the thing. That'd actually be kind of funny.
Polish, thank you for the $5 super chat. No message, just the chat. Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you seen Gone with the Wind? I prefer the history and production of it way more than the finished product. Also, just not a Scarlett O'Hara fan.
I get that. I understand that. So on the one hand, I like it was not the movie I thought it was gonna be. It was a little bit more of like, I don't want to say like a twisted character study, but a little bit. Like I didn't know it was about like selfish people, you know what I mean? So that made it a little bit more interesting. I see why it's a classic, and it was hailed for years and years and stuff like that. And same thing, the production history and everything is very, very interesting. I didn't get that into it, but I do see why people did back then and why people talk about now still.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Do you remember the real Ghostbusters episode where they go back in time and accidentally bust the Christmas ghosts and have to pretend they are the ghosts themselves so Scrooge will still learn his lesson?
Yes. And they put the little viewfinder on his head, push him around in a wheelchair. Ooh, we're flying! We're flying! Yeah, I remember that being pretty funny.
V-Man, thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm probably going to mess this one up too. I'm sorry in advance. Doug, knowing you live in the Chicago area and knowing it has a large Boricua population, have you ever tried Puerto Rican food? And if so, your favorite dish?
I mean, yeah, but I'm trying to remember.
When I was in Puerto Rico, there was some dish with plantains that was so good, like fried plantains and
Yeah, it's something where it's like I know I've had it and I know it's good. In terms of details, I can't remember that. Like it's not like put it this way, it's not something I've had recently. But I do know I've had in the past and I remember enjoying it, but I can't remember like, it's not something I remember being like, oh, I gotta have more. This is like my new favorite, type of food. I just remember saying this is good. And yeah, like I said, I can't remember the details of it, but I do remember it being very good.
Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. This is my paranoia talking, but I hope you guys have been receiving the real super chat payments. I would feel really bad if they didn't go through. Oh, yeah.
We are. Yeah. We're good.
Thank you for the concern. Yeah. Dan Merrick, thank you for the $5 super chat. Doug, no question, I've watched you since your I Quit video. Thank you for all the laughs and positivity. I appreciate you and the crew.
That's literally from the beginning. That's the first video I ever posted. So thank you so much for watching for so long.
Ricky, thank you for the $5 super chat. I hope you do a rock month in the future. Movies with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Scorpion King, Black Adam, and any films you like to do. Got any rock jokes?
Yeah, I'm trying to think in terms of like what movies I would do. Like ones I would really want to talk about. I like The Rock fine. I like his movies fine. I don't know if I'm like passionate to talk about them, but he's pretty charming and likable, in movies. So I don't know, probably not, but I might look into more Rock movies in general.
Nicroman, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Heather, I saw you play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart with your Clank plushie. Now I have the game on PC and played it with my cute chibi Rivet plushie. Oh, that's great. I love that. It was a good game. Christian, thank you for the $10 super chat. One, I highly recommend Spider-Man, the new animated series that aired on MTV. It is loosely based off the Sam Raimi movie, and it's quite adult. Plus, it involves Peter in college, then in high school.
There were a couple shows Spider-Man shows that came out. Yeah, I guess I'll just type in Spider-Man MTV and look it up. I remember there were two that were out and they didn't look like my thing, but I heard one was good and one was bad. So I got to see which one it is. Maybe it's the one you're talking about.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. I know you don't like the liar reveal trope, so I was wondering, how do you think it was done in Where the Wild Things Are?
Oh, I think that one is very interesting. Well, because again, it's kind of the same reason in Lego Movie. You kind of excuse the tropes a little bit more because it's in a kid's head and he's fed all this media. So it's like, this is the story he would probably go with. I think it's the same thing. Not only is he going with that, this story in his head based off of stuff he's probably grown up with, but then you have to ask, the question. It's like, well, he's accusing himself then. So he knows he's lying. How does he view himself then? That he views himself as a liar and he has to come clean to himself. I mean, yeah, it's these monsters and everything, but he's confessing to himself he has this guilt. And again, I feel like that's such an interesting angle with it. When you just really, really accept the idea that this is just all in a kid's head and really think about what that means, the movie is just so brilliant. It's so good.
We're going to have to pick things up just a little bit here.
Gotcha.
Jack Green, thank you for the $5 super chat. Here's an interesting movie to review this October, Nothing But Trouble, starring Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, and John Candy. It's a weird and quirky movie.
Yeah, I always wanted to do it for Freak Show Cinema. Maybe I still will, because I haven't done one of those in a long time.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Which Disney remake do you think came closer to being good? Pete's Dragon or Cruella?
Probably Pete's Dragon. Both of those, I think at one point I did say I liked, and then I went back to watch them. Like, I don't think they work, but they're very, very close.
Jay Price, thank you for the $10 super chat. I have a theme month idea for years, Bond month. I know there's 26 of them, so I suggest picking 4 or 5 of the worst to skewer. After all, what captures both the good and bad of nostalgia more than 007?
I like Bond fine. I don't love him though. Brad Jones does, and he's done a lot of those movies though. So if you want someone, I feel like you need a super fan to talk about. He definitely is. So definitely watch some of his videos on his Cinema Snob videos.
The Retro Maniac, thank you for the $5 super chat. Hey Doug, could we see you review the Donkey Kong Country cartoon? It's a musical show where DK sings the best, and it's as weird as it gets. Thank you.
I've seen a little bit of it. I don't like looking at it. It's a very ugly show to me. I'm sure it's bad and it's funny bad, but I don't have time because it is a show.
Frost Aurora, thank you for the 500 bits. Hey Doug, I'm surprised that you haven't done anything Mel Brooks related. Would you be interested in doing a Mel Brooks month or even top 11 video?
Probably not a month. I do have an idea for a video. It's a crossover I want to do with somebody, and we have talked about it. So it won't be this year. It'll hopefully be sometime next year. But yeah, we do have a plan for one of them.
Silhouetted Animator, thank you for the $5 super chat. Curious if you ever saw the Marvel show that aired on FX called Legion. Definitely the most unique thing ever put out cinematically by Marvel.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I don't even know what it's about. So maybe I'll check it out.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. In Has Been Hotel, which character do you think is the best singer?
Hold on. Okay, like I was thinking, Hell of a Boss has been.
Has been.
I mean, the lead's pretty good.
Yeah,
I guess I'll go with her.
Yeah, I would say Charlie has the best voice.
Mm.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Believe it or not, my 8th grade history teacher showed us the entire Normandy beach sequence in Saving Private Ryan. About half the class was sobbing by the end.
I mean, it's rough. It's a rough thing to like open up with
for
too.
It's 8th graders? That's shocking to me.
I mean, I think I saw it in like 9th grade, so I mean, it wasn't. Yeah. No. I take it back. Actually, I think it was later high school. The more I think about it, but I was in high school. So yeah, no, it's rough. The only thing that drives me nuts is the bullets not being stopped by the water. It's like for something that's like so historically accurate, bullets can't fly through water. That always drove me nuts.
John, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thoughts on The Catcher in the Rye? Would you like to see it get made into a movie?
Yeah, it's weird it hasn't. I like it. I don't know if I'm like quite obsessed with it like as much as a lot of other people are, but I do like it.
It's The Man with Two First Names. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Have you ever seen the 3D animated Nutty Professor sequel with Jerry Lewis and Drake Bell? Bless you two in Jesus' name.
No, I've never even heard of it. Weird. It sounds like made up.
Shouting Joker, thank you for the 500 bits. This show wouldn't be with Nathan Lane. It would be with Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen and would take place in many different locations, including a modern day setting similar to the cartoon.
Maybe. I mean, the cartoon was kind of fun. So maybe that's one of the few things I thought was good in the remake. So could be something.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. Who do you think is the better Peter Venkman? Lorenzo Music or Bill Murray?
I mean, it's got to be Bill Murray. I mean, without Bill Murray, you wouldn't have Lorenzo Music and that character and everything. But I mean, Lorenzo's pretty great.
Will, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thanks again, guys. You're awesome, and I love hearing your opinions. Doug, I'll finish by asking, would you do a Disney-December on Shakespeare in Love, the Weinstein film infamously winning Best Picture?
Oh, yeah, that is Miramax, isn't it? I think I have that on maybe next year's list, so it won't be this year, but probably next year.
TAF CJ Gaming, thank you for the $2 super chat. Silhouetted Animator, thank you for the $5 super chat. Most unappealing art style from a cartoon, in your opinion? I'd probably go with Problem Solvers, some short-lived cartoon network.
Some sort of bad CG show. Someone brought up the Donkey Kong Country show. Like, that'd probably be one of them. Yeah, I don't know. It's something about those just, don't like looking at them.
Movie Mike, thank you for the 500 bits. What are your thoughts on Mad About You?
I never watched that much of it. The little bit I saw was fine. But I am an adult now, so maybe I'll like it more. I don't know. That might be a show to put on and check out now. Maybe I'll like it more now.
Okay, we have a little bit of time here for some highlighted, and I'm going to go back also to some of the super chats that were under $5 as well. So, hooray. Smee fan over on Twitch asks, have you seen Collateral with Cruise and Fox? I thought Cruise's performance was so great and wonder why he doesn't play villains more in movies.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't think I got into it quite as much as everyone else did, but because it gave me what I thought I was going to get, but but it was good. And yeah, I thought maybe Cruise was going to be a little too hammy. I mean, he is a touch, but he does it well. I buy it.
Nathan over on YouTube asks, have you seen Jeepers Creepers?
No, I guess it's a good movie. Like, I remember when it came out, everyone's like, yeah, that looks like crap, whatever. But I guess it's got like a following and it's not that bad. So I should check it out.
Pierre, thank you for the $2 super chat. Will you ever change up the lights for NC?
I mean, I change up the location, so I think it goes out saying I'll change up the lights too.
Power Gamer over on Twitch says, Doug, I have some bad news. Out of the 5 main songs from The Lion King, the one with the fewest amount of streams on Spotify is Be Prepared. I agree. People have no taste.
Shame. It's like when I grew up with the Hakuna Matata. I'm like, what's wrong with people? Be Prepared is right there.
I think it's less because people don't have taste and more of the people streaming that on Spotify are probably kids. And I know for a fact sometimes kids are scared of that song.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah, my nieces and nephews sometimes would skip it. They'd be like, the scary song, I don't want the scary song. It's like,
that's the one we listen to over and over.
Dylan, thank you for the $2 super chat. NC for Kindergarten Cop and True Lies.
I was gonna do Kindergarten Cop for the next review. It was down to that and another movie. I called up my boss. I'm like, what do you think? I thought he was going to say Kindergarten Cop. He's like, do the other one. So well, we got on the list, but it might be, it'll either be later this year or sometime next year.
Rob on YouTube asks, thoughts/NC on the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T.
I don't think anyone would watch it. I've seen it. It is bizarre. It's hard to say it's good, but it is interesting. I just don't think anyone would tune into it.
Dylan, thank you for the $2 super chat. Kill, Mary, F. Seinfeld edition. George, Newman, Peterman.
Oh, I knew there was a catch. Was it George, Newman, and Peterman?
Yeah.
I'm blanking. Which one's Peterman? Is that Elaine's boss? Hold on. Peterman, Seinfeld. Yeah, he's Elaine's boss. I mean, marry him, obviously. He's just got the smoothest voice. And then F, probably George, just to see what the knuckle thing is about.
Fantastic.
Newman.
Fantastic. Cartoon Dictator over on Twitch says there's an obscure animated show called Henry's Amazing Animals that aired on Playhouse Disney. Go check it out. It's on YouTube.
All right, maybe I will.
Okay, great. Optinate, thank you for the $2 super chat. What's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Man, there's so many. Oh, Nicolas Cage. Like, I really have to go back and look at a lot of adaptations. Not bad. Face Off is pretty fun. I did like It Could Happen to You is pretty charming. I'm sure there's like some obvious one. Bringing Out the Dead. That's my favorite. I love that movie.
ADHD 95 over on YouTube asks, can you review Gattaca? It's a movie commenting on DNA manipulation.
Yeah, a lot of it's come true in many respects. I don't think I could add that much to it. It's kind of self-explanatory. It is a good movie. Everyone was talking about when it came out. I just don't think I can add that much to it. So probably not. But if you haven't seen it, go see it.
Alexander, thank you for the 500 bits. Have either of you ever been scarred by a song? For me, I will admit I do get a little freaked out by Pink Floyd's The Trial.
With Don McLean, I think is his name, the guy who did American Pie. He did one about, I mean, very obviously a protest song, but I think it's called The Soldier, and it's just about a soldier like slowly dying in war, and that was just like, oh my god, that was, I mean, as chilling as that musician is, and he just made it. It's one of the most miserable. I mean, it's beautifully done, but it's hard, man. It's difficult to sit through.
USS Salem, thank you for the $2 super chat. What's your opinion on Christine, 1983?
I like it. I don't think I get into it as much as everyone else, but it is a very fun, cool movie. It's got a cool style to it and everything. It's good. It's a good flick.
Ronnie G, thank you for the $2 super chat. When you bring back Rob, sometimes overshadowed you.
Sometimes I do. Yeah, when the script calls for it, I bring him in.
Sean49 Doctor over on Twitch says, "Hey Doug, as busy as you are, have you ever tried attending film festivals like Cannes or TIFF? You could get lots of inspiration from future videos."
Again, nobody would watch. And sometimes there's like, I'll get like invites sometimes like Chicago ones and stuff like that. But again, I'm just like, what is this gonna do? I mean, like, this does take up a lot of my time, and on the weekends, like, I do like to spend time, just with my wife and just getting away from the job and stuff like that. So yeah, it is one of those things where it's very cool and very flattering that, when I do get invites and stuff, but it's like I like my personal time too.
TAF, thank you for the $2 super chat. When will you do an NC review Paul Blart Mall Cop?
I think I saw that. I don't remember it being bad. I don't remember it being good either. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of material I could get out of with it.
Christian Killian, thank you for the $2 super chat. Has Doug seen the show Smallville?
No, I hear it's very good though. I've never checked it out, but I've heard a lot of people say good things about it.
Lego Jonah over on Twitch says, "Hey Doug, Epic Mickey is so good that it should have been the 100th Disney anniversary movie."
Maybe I'll agree with you. Probably better than Wish.
Right. Frankfurt the Orange E2 Productions over on YouTube says, "The Legend of Awesomeness Ron Perlman was in the Mashima Transformers Prime Wars Saga and Rise of the Beasts as Optimus Primal. Any chance for a review one day?"
One of the lists I have for for like talk about movies like just in a franchise and stuff is the Transformers movie. So when I do that, I will definitely talk about that movie. I still haven't seen it yet though.
Okay, right. Sorry, I'm trying to read things and talk at the same time. Skywalker Bond over on Twitch says, "Hey Doug, NC recommendations, Brittany Murphy movies, Clueless, Uptown Girls, Just Married."
I've seen Clueless. That's a good movie. Just Married is not a good movie, but those two are very good. They are very funny and very likable. And I never did see Uptown Girl, so maybe I'll check it out. I really like Brittany Murphy. That's such a sad end because she was such a great talent.
Thank you, Chaplain. Hello. We're glad that you're gracing us with your presence just as we're wrapping up.
Great.
That's the perfect place to end. Chaplain slowly eating Doug's nose. Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. That'll wrap us up here today. Thank you for joining us. We super, super appreciate it. I'm distracted by Chaplain.
Sorry, he's pretty cute. Very cute.
We do have content 5 days a week normally over on our Twitch channel. If you want to join us there, twitch.tv/channelawesome. Unfortunately, there is no Friday stream this week.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to be out of town, sadly. Sorry, y'all. But after that, we're going to finish up Arkham City.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely. The week after that, Doug is finishing Arkham City. It'll be very fun. But yeah, have a wonderful evening. If you are over on the Twitch side of things, we are going to go raid Miss Tamara Chambers. If I did that right, great. I can spell my friend's name. Have a great rest of your evening. Appreciate all of you, and we will see you later. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.